All right, this is just a quick video for the Little Birds volleyball coaches, just to kind of help you set the volleyball nets up, use all the volleyball equipment such as the carts and all that stuff, as well as put all of the equipment away when you're done with it. All right, so the first thing is all of our volleyball equipment is located in this small coach's office down here on the end. During the season, we'll keep this door unlocked, but if for some reason it's not, I did the phone numbers for our custodians that should be in the building are right here. There's two of them, Jordan and Jennifer. So if you ever, for whatever reason, whether it's this door's locked or if you need something cleaned up, you can just call those two. So the first thing you'll do to set up the net is you'll need this key right here that's hanging on the wall back here. It's just hanging right there. If for some reason it's not there, I do have some extra keys for the floor, and they're in that drawer right there. So first thing you'll do is come out here. You got to take these discs that are in the ground and put those, you don't have to take them completely out, but you do have to move them to the side. So now that you have this little key, it just fits in these little slots like so. Just turn it sideways, just pull it up and get your fingers in there and just kind of turn it sideways, and then just leave them there. They don't have to, you don't have to take them completely off. Then you'll have to do the other one as well. Okay, always make sure you put the key back, that way it's ready for the next team when they need to install the net, okay? So the next thing we'll need are the volleyball poles. All right, there are 4 of them there. We only need 2, obviously, for the main court. So if you're looking at it, we're always going to be using the shorter ones for the Little Birds volleyball league. So you'll always need one with a, the crank here, and then one without the crank. All right. The other thing you need to be aware of is that little safety rod that's keeping those poles on the wall. All right. When you pull one of the poles, all right, all you do is slide that over like so, and then pull the pole, okay, and then make sure you put it back so the other ones don't fall down, okay? You never want to take that little safety rod completely out from the wall, okay? Okay, so once you have the poles, both poles in the ground, just a couple things that you need to be aware of. Just make sure that the strap is flat and it's going over top of the wheel at the top, and then as you can see, you got these little clips here. That's what the net's going to go on. Both poles have that on both sides. As you can see, I've got the crank down here. It's on the outside. You make sure that's on, I've got it closest to the stage over here. It doesn't really matter which side of the floor you put it on, but you always want to make sure that that crank is on the outside. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the net here. All right, so there are 3 volleyball nets. 2 of them are for the side-by-side courts, which you probably won't need, but you will need the main net, or the main court net. To indicate which one that is, on the top of the cart, I have it labeled, which are coming apart, but you want to make sure you have where it says main court, not the one that says side court. All right, those 2 say side, this one says main. The other thing that you will notice on the actual net, there is some orange and blue tape that kind of helps where the setters should go, but only the main court has those orange and blue. And the other thing you might notice is when it's hanging on there, it is hanging upside down on the cart, and that's pretty important when it's time to put it away. Okay, so to get that off there, you just kind of pull it off, and kind of hard to do with one hand. All right, and then just roll it off there until the whole net comes completely off. And you can roll this out into the gym floor if you need to. I normally just take it off right here in the office. All right, so to attach the net, make sure that this strap is flat. Again, make sure that's completely flat. You don't want any twists to that. And then on the net, the top of the net has this triangle metal piece. That's what you're going to clip this spring-loaded hook to. All right, so you do this side first, and you'll have to go do the other side. And before you put that net in, make sure you give yourself plenty of slack with the strap. You don't want to get clip this side and then go to the other side and you don't have enough slack to get the net up there. So make sure you put plenty of slack by just cranking this. Then once you have it hanging there, that's when you just crank it up and crank it as tight as you can get it. There's really not, it's going to be fine. Just do as tight as you can possibly crank. All right, so after that, then we have these straps at the bottom. I like to keep it nice and neat. That's why they're kind of folded up. And when you do this, just make sure you completely open. All right, you'll wrap. If you look at the strap, it has this little turnbuckle here. It's like a little rectangle metal piece. That'll be on one side. You're going to go to the opposite side of the pole from that little turnbuckle. Wrap it around, pull it through the turnbuckle, and then bring it back to yourself. And because this is the first one, I just do it nice and loose. It helps if you have a second person and you do that at the same time on the opposite end, okay? And then it has this little Velcro piece to hide that little rectangular metal piece. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. When you do that second side, you really want to pull it tight to get the bottom of that net. So I'll do it again on this side just so you can see, it's really loose right now. I'll pull it really tight, as tight as I can get it, and then Velcro it back to itself. That way the net's nice and tight. Okay, so the last thing that you need to do is set these mats or these pole protectors. These are located in the back of the coach's office. Kind of look like this, pretty simple. Go under the net first, wrap up the pole, and then just Velcro to itself. And then you'll get both sides, obviously. And then it does have some Velcro straps on the other side. And I'll do the other side later, but that's pretty much the setup, okay? And now, I'll tear it back down. All right, so now that the pads are off, pretty simple. Velcro everything. We'll have to unvelcro both sides first. But when you do this, please, please, please go ahead and Velcro yourself back to yourself and then fold it back up. That way, when it's time to put these nets on the cart, those straps do not get caught up in the wheels because that can really get knotted up. So I'll do, it should look like this when you're done. So I'll do that on both sides. And then just release all the tension with the crank. Okay, when it's time to put the net back on the cart, a couple things. As you can see, I just leave the cart in there. You're more than welcome to take it out on the floor. It's just whatever you prefer. But when you put the net on the cart, put it upside down so that strap that's on the bottom of the net is actually on top. Again, the reason why we do that is to keep these straps from getting stuck in the wheels. And if somebody's moving that around and it gets wrapped up in the wheels, it can really get knotted up. So we're gonna hang this upside down, and there's little rods that you're just gonna hang it. Make sure you're hanging it on the actual white strap, not on the black part of the net. It just protects the net a little bit better. All right, just a reminder, make sure that that safety rod is always protecting yourself. When you put the poles back, make sure that the crank is not directly next to the other pole on the wall that has a crank. So you want to go crank, no crank, crank, and then you want to slide this last one in. Make sure the crank is facing out as well. And they should slide in. You might have to persuade it a little bit by pushing it in there, wedging it in there. And then just make sure that that safety rod's on there. All right, that's it. All right, so the last thing I want to show you guys are how to open up these carts. Seems pretty simple. We do have 3 of them. You're welcome to use all 3 of them. And as you can tell, we got more volleyballs than we know what to do with. But down here at the bottom of these carts, once you open it up, you have to make sure that this little locks into place on this side. And then you're also going to want to lock it in on the other side as well. Now it won't fold up on you. And then make sure we always put the balls back in the cage when we're done with them, because that room does get used during the school day, so we got to make sure it's we're not leaving all of our equipment just laying in the middle of the room. All right, and then when it's time to put them back, just put the balls away first, and then that's it.